The Premier League is at its best this weekend. We have Manchester United travelling to Stamford Bridge, and we have top of the table Leicester City travelling to Manchester to face up against City at the Etihad. Let's talk some tactics. So this is how Manchester City, I believe, will line up in this game. They're posed with that, I would say, decision that Pellegrini never wanted to make, and that is trying to feature his team without that ginger wizard that is Kevin De Bruyne. At the back, they're going to go with Sagna, Otamendi, Demichelis, and Kolarov. That's what I think they'll line up with. They may change it. Fernandinho and Delph. Silva playing probably out of position, but it really depends on how they use him on wide right. Toure in the middle, Sterling and Aguero up top. Now, going into this game, it really does come down to how Manchester City try to utilise the space without Kevin De Bruyne, because we know he likes to be that outlet, finding it into his feet and trying to push Leicester back. Because with Leicester managed to find that the space it needed to form a counter-attack, that's when you're in trouble. So what Manchester City need to do, play the game in Leicester City's half. Frustrate them, force them back. And when you have wide outlet players like Kevin De Bruyne, it's easier to do that. But playing Toure higher up the field allows them to do this. So this is what I'm going to see Manchester City do. Is Aguero is going to play right on that last man. As you know, he holds the ball up well. But you're going to see Raheem Sterling take this position as wide as possible. Previously, when Kevin De Bruyne would play, Raheem Sterling would form this role. David Silva would check into feet, and this would allow Sterling to cut inside, maybe play an odd 1-2. But without David Silva playing that central role, what you see is Yaya Toure playing a far more standard centre midfield position. He's simply going to get the ball into his feet, get into the box, maybe use a 1-2 at Aguero, and Sterling is going to be wider. Now, what this will do for Leicester, which is a positive for Manchester City in this situation, is when Leicester, that back four, are combined, they're so strong. They move as a team. The ball goes wide, they all move over, they all cover the space, they all tuck in well. But when you have a player as wide as Raheem Sterling is going to play in this game, it's going to force this fullback to step out. And when you've got an attacking fullback like Kolarov, he's going to overlap, pose this decision for this fullback whether to track him or whether to push to the ball. And the only time I've really seen Leicester isolated was against Liverpool. And that is when their fullbacks were dragged out of position. They were left weak with the running, the midfield runners, which Yaya Toure loves to pick up. When he finds that grass in front of him, that real estate, there's no one better in the league at driving forward and making something happen. Because against West Ham, what happened when Manchester City started to find some more leeways when they got the ball wider earlier, and it pulled out the fullbacks and left Aguero isolated in the box. Because when Aguero gets that space between two centre-backs who are not as mobile as him, that is when he really comes to life. Morgan and Huth aren't exactly the quickest individuals. They're very strong in the air. But what it's going to pose is it's going to pose the option for Aguero to make these runs straight through and behind. Because when you pull out these fullbacks earlier, Raheem Sterling will get the ball early, or David Silva will get the ball in this wide area. And if he manages to find space in this area, you better believe Aguero's going to make his bending run in behind. His first-time finishes are second to none. So I imagine Pellegrini force Leicester back and pull out those fullbacks, isolate those two centre-backs. No one has done it really yet to the best of their ability. Maybe with the Argentine at the helm and the Argentine in form of Aguero, they might be able to do so. Let's take a look at the top of the table, the underdogs that everyone continuously counts out, Leicester City. So Leicester have been transcendent this season. Everyone went with the casual 4-2-3-1. That's the go-to formation. No, Ranieri knows that a 4-4-2 is what works for this Leicester City team. Okazaki, I imagine, will take that number 10 role very deep, allowing Jamie Vardy all the freedom and all the space needed to run at Manchester City's backline, especially those two makeshift centre-backs in Otamendi and Demichelis. And what they'll do is they'll play their usual four in the midfield, Mahrez, Kante, Drinkwater, and Albrighton, and that sturdy back four. Leicester City this season continue to amaze me because what they continuously do is overcome other teams. Premier League teams will watch hours and hours of tape. They'll try to figure out ways to stop Mahrez getting the ball to Vardy's feet. Liverpool tried to execute this well, but there is no stopping these two because they're so mobile. Jamie Vardy plays like a winger, and then he makes that dart and run in behind. What mesmerises me about Jamie Vardy is he'll start in this wide area, and he's so direct with his run, and Mahrez is so fluent with his passes that he'll try to find these balls in behind. And Vardy is the best in the Premier League at the moment at getting onto it and making something happen. This game is going to come down to a lot more than just Mahrez and Vardy. It's going to come down to Albrighton. It's going to come down to Drinkwater because Kante, as we know, is going to hold that position in there. He's going to be the anchor. And I think it might work to their advantage that Kolo Toure plays higher up the field in this game, because then this poses the basic opportunity of playing one-on-one to Fernandinho or Delph. What I want to see is Mahrez run at these players, because when you watch Manchester City against West Ham. West Ham were fearless. What happened? When it came to a one-on-one situation, West Ham were fearless. They disrupted that stable back four by simply taking on a player, forcing a player to move outside of his comfort zone, outside of a position that he did not want to be, and it allows for room in behind. Because when you put pressure on Otamendi and Demichelis, they are no means world-class players. They don't know how to mark up as well as they should in the box. Leicester are better than anyone at counter-attacking. So what I want to see is make sure that Jamie Vardy plays onto that last man and Mahrez takes on those players. Find that space into this area. You want to isolate this gap. Make sure that Fabian Delph and Fernandinho are never constantly protecting there. If you allow Man City to get back in time and protect those back two, they might have a better chance of clearing the ball. You want to be swift in your counter-attack. Get it into Mahrez's feet as quick as you can, and he'll find Jamie Vardy isolating those two centre-backs. There's no one in the league better at counter-attacking football than Leicester City. Make sure to remember that when you put your bets on this game. My prediction for this game, despite all the things I just said about Leicester City, I'm going for a Manchester City 2-1 win. I think Aguero's form at the moment is going to redefine what Manchester City are looking to achieve at the end of the season. I think this will be a memorable moment when we look back on this season and say, wow, Leicester City, I really wish they could have won that league. Because trust me, I would love if Leicester City won this league. I would love for a team like them to go ahead and win it. But this is a moment in the season where they really need to stand up and show we're serious. And I have taken them serious, trust me. But I think at home, in the Etihad, I think Manchester City might have too much in this game, and I'm going to go with a 2-1 win. I would love to be wrong. I'm sure a lot of you guys would love for me to be wrong as well. Hit me up on Twitter at Francis_Maxwell and at 2 Sport.